Good afternoon, everybody. We are going to do a video with my husband today. This is his first time on our channel. Everybody is talking about chicken feed, and is it a government conspiracy that the chicken feed no longer has whatever it needs so that chickens are laying eggs, because people's chickens aren't laying eggs. And people are discovering that if they switch from their big box store feed to a more local feed, all of a sudden their chickens are laying eggs. So my husband has actually been in the feed industry for the last almost 30 years. He does rations, he creates feed for animals, that's kind of what he does. So he's going to talk to us about whatever this is.
So like it was said, I've been in the feed business for, I don't think 30 years, 20 something,
26,
whatever,
27.
26, I guess, that's fine.
I said almost 30.
I don't think that's fair. But we're going to talk about a few things. Where do you want to start?
It's your talk, go for it.
I didn't know it was my talk, but if it's my talk, we'll start out. I've been getting lots of videos, I've sent lots of them to police about people wanting to know what's going on with their chickens and their chicken feed, and I haven't had a conspiracy theory kind of view on this. I have plenty of conspiracy theories. This is just not one of them.
Yeah, we're all for a good conspiracy
Absolutely.
theory. Absolutely.
Did you bring tinfoil? It's already in my hat, so
No.
we're good.
Yeah, he's lined with it.
What I really think this is, it's just a matter of feed companies doing business how they normally do business. So within that, the larger feed companies who sell to very specific companies, larger box stores, they have a price point on sack feed that they like to hit, and they like to maintain it, and they'd like to do essentially the same price across the board throughout the nation. So the bigger stores are able to do that. They get large companies to supply their feed, but in order to do that in the kind of markets we've been experiencing, where all feed commodities have been on the increase for the last 6, 8, 9 months or so, probably maybe even a little bit more. As these commodity prices increase, you see that in the feed store, and just for us, our stacked feed has probably doubled in price. If you look at a feed and the bag price hasn't doubled at least, what they've done to maintain their price, they're not losing money on it. What they've done is they've least costed, so they do a least cost ration. So they put in the specifications for the feed, and it'll pull in the ingredients from the least cost. And when you do that, you have multiple ways of developing a feed. If you allow it to do a true least cost, it'll just flat out get the least expensive ingredients, shove them in. So if you're trying to maintain a price per bag or a price per ton, what you'll end up doing is drawing in less nutrient dense feeds. So on the protein side, you're going to move from high quality proteins like soybean meal. Soybean meal has the largest, greatest plant-based amino acid spectrum out of a protein that you can get. You may switch that from canola to, say, canola or cottonseed meal, something with a lower palatability, something that would have a lower amino acid spectrum, so it's going to cost less, and they're going to put that in. You're going to go from, say, using corn and barley, which are high density energy feeds. You may go to wheat mill run, which is a low TDN or low energy kind of a feed. Once you've done that, you've really decreased the value of the feed, but you've been able to maintain your costs. I think that's really what's been going on within the overall feed industry, just to try to maintain prices for people who are coming in and buying stacked chicken feed. So it's good and bad. It's good if you're just trying to maintain your chickens, because that's what you eventually are buying, is a maintenance ration versus a true layer production kind of pellet. That's why if you go to a more local feed or you go to a higher end feed, they have certain standards that they're trying to apply to that brand of feed, and they're not going to let the quality in terms of protein and energy level drop to where you see actual production drop. But certain feeds, they're just trying to give you maintain their price as long as they can. So we have a couple thoughts here. First one is tags. You can see some of this on your tags. Did you want to jump in, or do you want to just?
You can keep going.
So you can see some of this on tag. It's better if when we're fighting about it earlier. That was a lot more interesting, I thought.
So every bag of feed has a nutrition tag on it, which tells you what's in the feed. And depending on where you live, that can be super specific or super vague. But it has to tell you your protein amounts, energy,
fiber,
fat,
protein, ash, and some tags on the ingredients part. So on a nutrient analysis, you have those ingredients, those nutrients at the top. The rest of the tag will give you ingredients. And the higher, the first ingredient on the tag listed, that's what it has the most of. Second ingredient will be the second most thing, and it works its way down to the least amount. So you can get an indication of how this feed is built based on the nutrient analysis, which has to have protein, fat, fiber, ash, are the main ones. Sometimes it'll have some minerals on there as well. Most of the time not. Some states, I worked in 11 Western states at various points. Some states have stricter tag laws. So if you're in a state that has strict tag laws, they'll have to list exactly what they feed ingredient is. Say soybean meal, canola meal, ground corn, wheat meal run. Other states, like where we live right now, aren't that strict. They can just say plant-based protein, plant-based grain, and they can just go on through like that. Molasses byproduct. They don't have to put the exact specific commodity on there. And that is a detriment to us. Really helps to have those exact ingredients, but not every state does that. So if you're in a state that lists those specifically, you can just look at the tag and see what the protein source is and see what your top major carbohydrate contributors are and see if there's any fat in there. Fat is a very high energy nutrient, so if you have a vegetable oil type of fat, see what source that comes from. That can help some of your feeds as well. So tags, protein, energy, type of tag. The other thing that we talked about is I don't think we ever saw a drop off, did we?
No.
In egg production?
No, our hens lay all winter long. It's very rare for us not to have eggs all through the winter. The only time we actually experienced that, probably in the last 15 years, was maybe 2 years ago when we, through bad planning, just ended up with some older hens. And we had younger hens that hadn't started laying yet and older hens that just decided it's cold, we're not letting this happen. But we try to keep a young, diverse flock, and we specifically buy hens that are good for our winter because our winters are long and cold. And not every breed lays in the cold, so we buy breeds that do really well in the cold, and we definitely see a drop. Like, we aren't selling 5 dozen a week through the winter, but we have plenty of eggs for us.
So I've seen a lot of people talking about they've tried lights and things. That is concerning because you can actually throw your birds into a molt if you do the light thing wrong. So you really only want to add a couple hours in the evening and maybe an hour in the morning. So you need to either be committed to going and turn the lights on and off, or you need to have a timer. If you leave that light on all night, every night, you will mess your birds up and they will throw themselves into molt, most likely. The other thing we talked about is because we do a CSA and we do a lot of farm gardening, we do a lot of our own food, we end up with a lot of scraps, and we kind of have that year round. So feeding those scraps, I think, are a tremendous boost to the birds as well. And we feed pretty much everything
We don't
to our birds.
throw away any food. It goes to somebody. It goes to the pigs or it goes to the birds. They get meat scraps. They get scraps when we butcher. They get all of the vegetable scraps or dinner scraps or whatever.
They go crazy when we're butchering. On butchering day,
Yep.
whether it's beef or pig or chicken, the chickens love it.
Yep.
And they'll eat every bits that we drop or lose or throw to them. And it's kind of fun to make them chase chicken scraps around, but sorry. Was I not supposed to say that?
So if you are experiencing the lack of eggs and you have been buying your food from a box store, a Tractor Supply, or what else is there?
I have no names to share.
Okay, so the biggest one that I've heard is Tractor Supply, and a lot of people have been complaining about that. And Tractor Supply is Purina. And I'm just going to use the name here. Purina is not quality feed. Purina is a least cost, all the way across the country, same ingredients everywhere feed. It's not good feed. If you want a better feed, you do need to go to a local mill, or you need to be buying something that's going to cost a lot more than Purina. And it's just the truth. It's not a good feed. It's like the Walmart of feeds. And you don't really want to be feeding that to your birds. You can do better by your birds. And not everybody has the option to free range, but free ranging makes a huge difference. If they get outside on the grass and scratch up bugs, even if it's just for an hour or two a day and be in the sunlight and out of the coop, you're going to see just a jump in egg production because they're happy and they want to be outside. And, feed them your scraps, feed them old milk, feed them everything. They're little garbage disposals, and they will take care of all of it, and they will turn it into little golden nuggets of egg for you.
Garbage disposals?
Yes.
That's not very nice.
But it's true.
Okay.
So, you have anything else to add?
No, other than, since we're at the end, we thought about doing some feed comparisons. One way to check this out is actually to send off your feed for an analysis. And we're willing to do that for a few people who message us. And I'll send samples off. We'll get some of our feed as well. Especially if you have some of the feed left over from some point when you think your birds were not doing well. And all we need is like about a pound, a sandwich bag full kind of amount. We could get you our information, send it to us. I'll send it to a lab, and then we'll do a follow-up video with actual feed analysis. So if you'd like to do that, give us, I guess we don't call.
Just comment.
How do we contact?
Send a comment.
Comments? Okay.
And or a direct message, and we can get your information.
Do they have to like and subscribe?
It helps if they like.
You have to like and subscribe if you want to send us a sample, though.
But if you want to do that, if you're interested in that, you can just contact us, and we'll give you our information, and you can send us the sample, and he'll send it off to his lab, and they'll tell you exactly what's in your feed, and you can see exactly what changes may or may not have been made. So, as much as we would love for this to be government conspiracy, it's more just a business practice of where they're trying to keep feed costs down, because certain people don't want to spend more. They only want to spend X amount, and they don't really care anything else. They're just worried about the cost.
Well, the assumption is that the backyard guy, it doesn't matter anyways.
Yes.
A commercial guy matters, and they can tell.
Yes, they're just assuming that you are just some person that has chickens in your backyard, and you don't know any better anyway, so they don't really care. So,
and even if you are, we're here to educate you. So it's just a matter of you've got to give them an actual layer ration, not a maintenance ration. That's the biggest issue. Is if they have changed the feeds, then what it's doing is it's changed it back to a maintenance ration, not a layer ration. And as we're getting more sunlight in our days, your girls are going to start to lay more eggs anyway. But
We hope that this has been informative for you and that you've learned something. If you have questions, go ahead and shoot us a comment and we'll do our best to answer it. And like the man said, if you like and subscribe, it's great for everybody. Thanks. Have a great day.
Bye.